Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to Hawaii, where we get to see Game 2 of the FBA Finals for 2020. My name is Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. How you doing, my dude?
Doing excellent. We're back here for game two. Last game before we head cross country once again. Let's just
Whew.
point this out. I am glad I have the company card because I am making bank on miles with this playoffs after last
Oh,
year's.
oh, for sure. It just seems like we've been doing this like nonstop.
So, but before we head off to Plymouth, we have to decide game two here. Obviously, last we saw Hawaii close it out in a very tight game one. It came down to the wire. Last couple minutes, we finally saw Hawaii pull away. And as we talked about after the last game, a huge moment for them. They need this game here to go up 2-0 so they have the momentum going on the road to Plymouth. If Plymouth manages to get this game, they have such a massive advantage for the remainder of the series. So, with that in mind, who do you have on your radar to watch out for tonight, especially after their performance in game one?
I think really, honestly, I'm just gonna go on the limb and just say, Yasina Celis. I mean, she's been able to became a really handy player, being one of the better 3-point shooters of game one. And she actually had a couple of good runs for when it comes to coming off the bench. So I think looking out for her in particular is going to be very important for the Kahunas to try and contain early on, because if she ends up getting harder than she did last game, it could spell trouble, as you've noted before in game one. For majority of this game, the Roots have had control for most of it, and it only came until like the last couple of minutes for the Kahunas to finally take over and go ahead into the lead. So, while yes, it was a great game for the Kahunas to win, they do need to find a way to clean some stuff up in order to be able to actually have full control in this game.
Well, interesting you're watching a player on the bench, but honestly, Sixth Fur, she finished second for Sixth Fur of the year, so no surprise there that you're keeping an eye on her. I could say the same on flip side for Hawaii with Delgado after his first game in the finals. Did really well coming off the bench, but really my eye is going to be on the shooting guard matchup. We saw Scooney Tate outdo the combo of River and Turner. Now I want to see the guards step up. JCK and Cruz did not have the best game last night, and this is an opportunity here for both of them to step up. We saw Yona really struggle as well, and it took the second half before we saw any spark of life out of him. And Kenny, while he did not have necessarily a huge drought, it's not like he stepped up and took over the game. It really was down to the back court or the front court for the Taproots and the Kahunas, and I want to see how the front court makes up for that, or the back court makes up for that tonight.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a really big game here, as you've alluded to. The field goal percentage for both of these for all the players in the backcourt really wasn't much of a struggle, and we haven't seen a lot of 3-point play into this game. So I think that being able to rely on the 3-point just a little bit more to pretty much spread things out can make things a lot easier for your boys within the paint, but also give you more scoring opportunities as well.
Yes, and speaking of which, I think I see the players heading onto the court now.
And that we do as we get to see a view of the starting lineup real quick. And right now we are going to be underway. And we see the Kahunas being able to win it first, as we see Yona bringing it up to the court. As I said, this is the start of game two. Very important game for both teams. As right now we can see a quick shot there, and it's no good, but Tate cleans it up, giving the first dagger into this game.
And of course, it's Tate cleaning up another offensive rebound. We saw plenty of those in game one, and we'll have to see if Plymouth has made any kind of adjustment to contain him on the offensive board game.
Yeah, that is a really good hit. As we can see Trevor Cruz trying to get up into the paint. Getting started very well. As he get passed it over to Kenny. Kenny going for a long three. No good, though, as it hits the side of the rim. Baird with the board.
And that was a great pump fake there. He actually completely blew him away, and Already we're going to go to the line for an and one opportunity.
Yeah, and right now, and going into it, we're already seeing Hawaii picking up the pace here as they have a 3-point opportunity with Yona Vasanhout.
And maybe Kenny a little bit upset about the missed shot there. He was wide open after the good pump fake.
Yeah, and right now we get to see Hawaii up 5-0 early on going into this game. So Plymouth getting a little bit of a drop in the early going. I mean, Tahiri going for three. It is no good there as Tate gets the rebound.
And Barrett free lane to the basket, slams it
Oh.
down. Well, we talked about the three-point game, and apparently Plymouth is trying to do something with that, but it's biting themselves in the butt here as we see Kahuna's up 7-0 already.
Yeah, this is a really a good start here for Hawaii. You can't really ask for anything else. And right now we get to see a quick double team, but they backed off a little bit as he passes it over to Tahiri, and we get his 3-second violation on Plymouth. Another costly turnover. So right now we get to see Hawaii probably extending this lead possibly up to double digits if they get a good three going.
Well, that would just
JC
be a real pain. I was going to say a real ironic thing if they made a three before Plymouth did, but nope. JCK steps in for a quick two for mid-range, and already 9-0. I wouldn't be surprised if Plymouth calls a timeout if they can't get a bucket here.
Yeah, they're going to have to. They need to find a way to cool down the Kahunas a bit because the Kahuna has been on fire for these last few possessions.
And
And
blocked.
he gets blocked right there.
And
And it's backcourt violation. This is not really looking good right here in the early going in this game for Plymouth.
no,
get to
they're
see-
trying to do the three-point game, but the Kunas are on them the whole way, and that's just shows right there with the block.
And right now we get to see Barrett extending it to a double-digit lead, and we finally see a timeout for the Roots, trying to calm these things down a little bit and try and regroup from this deficit.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about double-digit lead already. We have one here. This is the exact opposite of last night's game. The Kahunas can't miss a shot, whereas the Plymouth Taproots scoreless after 2.5 minutes already.
Yeah, and that's really telling. It just goes to show that the Hawaii is ready to step up and try and get into this big lead. And we're gonna see a quick block there from Hawaii from Yona. And we get to see Barrett trying to clean this up, and he gets fouled though, and Tahiri gets their first personal. So we might see some points on the board finally continue for Scooney as we get to see him make the first shot. So right now, Plymouth has been struggling. They're already down 4 possessions.
Well, that's generous. 4 possessions that they make three-pointers, which so far they've been either blocked or missed. If anything, now I'm wondering how high the Kahunas are going to be able to get this absolute scoring run to go before the Taproots finally say they have enough. And funny thing, they have not passed the Turner yet. That's a big
That's
question.
another big thing. I'm very curious as to why they haven't done so yet. I mean, right now he's been trying to rely on the screen, as we do see so here, but it's not really doing much for them. He might have to pass that up, but he gets blocked there by Tate. It seems like the Taproots are trying to do too much getting into the paint here. And right now we get to see Tate try to lay up, but it's no good though, as Tate gets the board. Turner gets the board. And right now we get to see Turner loses the ball there, gets picked up by Tate, and pass it up to Doris so they have a chance to extend this lead, and they do so with a three-pointer. So just in the first quarter alone, we see a 16-0 run by the Kahunas.
Well, not just
This
that. This is the second timeout Plymouth has called now, and they're just not getting it done. Turner finally had the ball down low in the post. Maybe they went away from their game plan, and they were finally going to let him have an opportunity. But miss opportunity there as it gets stolen.
Yeah, and honestly, I did not expect this game to start off this way. it's really surprising to see how really this have changed compared to game 1. Do you think that fatigue might have a play here?
I mean, it might. I made a comment last night about how often Jake was on the floor for past the regular starting minutes. And Maybe it's that. Maybe he's got some soreness. But the Taproot as a whole need to be able to score, and they finally do with the 3 from Cruz. They can't rely on Turner to get them all the points here tonight.
Yeah, someone else has to pretty much step up for this game, and it's good that Cruz was the first one to get those points. Now they need to stop here, as they try to go for Bear for a long 2, and right now no one is missing on the Kahuna side.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen, 2 missed shots, and one of them was off of a foul, so it didn't even count.
Yeah, so right now we get to see a lot of scoring opportunities being missed here. They need to have get their offense going. Right now we get to see Keenan go and rely on that screen. Going for a long 2, no good there, and Barrett once again with the board.
Is it the offense for Plymouth that's failing, or is it the defense for the Kahunas that's exceeding? We've seen blocks and turnovers so far abound.
Yeah, right now it does seem like the Kahunas are in the Roots' head. And we get to see Yona going for a long 2, and it's no good, but Turner gets the board. Turner going over to Tahiri. Tahiri laying up, and it's good. Then there was a good no call there by the ref, but let the play on a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised they didn't call for blocking there and give him an and one opportunity, but yeah, like I said, they let him play, not that much contact. Maybe tried to oversell it a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, and we get to see JCK trying to lay it up, and it's no good. Good defense there in the paint for Plymouth. They finally get a stop here, and Kenny going for a nice dunk there. As they're trying to see if they can pick up the pace a little bit, trying to cut this deficit down.
Well, and that might be where they have to succeed is in transition defense. If the Kahunas are able to put them on lockdown when they have time to establish themselves. Oh, Lord.
Oh.
Tate answers with an alley-oop back to Kenny's dunk.
Yeah, and once again, Hawaii's back up by 13, 20-7, and we're only just halfway through the first quarter. And right now we get to see River trying to get into the paint, instead pass it back up to Cruz. Cruz trying to get a chance to make a lane of his own. Going really tough into the paint, but it's no good, and Yona gets the rebound. And Doyle finding a way a lane to his own, going for that pop up into the mid-range, but it's no good there, and Turner gets their rebound. So right now we are starting to see the Kahunas cool off a little bit.
Cool off. 20 points in under 6 minutes.
Yeah, and right now we see Turner lay it up and in, and we see the deficit now cut down by 11. So there's a little bit of a reverse thing here, seeing that the Roots being down by this. Let's see if they find a way to clean this up. And Tate gets to clean it up on his own with a nice slam.
I think the Taproots are surprised. They had 3 players standing around ready to go for that rebound, and Tate just flies in and grabs it chest height and dunks it down. And that's just a scary prospect if you aren't able to box him out with 3 players.
Yeah, right now we finally see the Roots be able to hit the double digits as they get their 11th point. And right now we get to see a nice steal there from Cruz. And Turner trying to lay it up, but it gets blocked there by Tate, but that will be counted as a foul. So we get to see Turner go up for 2.
Yeah, and big point to make is whether or not these teams can get each other in foul trouble. As we see substitutions for both teams, and that might actually be what cools us down here, is Turner will stay on the floor due to being at the free throw line. But I have to imagine that they're going to pull him out as soon as they can. And Tate's going to be kept in too to keep Turner in check.
Yeah, and we also get to see Doyle stay in as well, as we get to see Turner being able to make the second one, as now they've been able to cut the deficit down to 9, back within single digits. And we'll see if they're able to cut it even more with the second tier players coming in for both sides. And Alphonse gets blocked there by Belmare. As Turner pass it over to Yasina. Yasina trying to lay it up, and it's no good, but Belmare is able to clean it up.
Well, she got it started with the block and finishes in with the offensive rebound and lay-in.
Yeah, like I said, the putbacks are really going to be very important, and we see the Plymouth starting to climb back into this game as we get to see Yasina get the rebound. Yasina heading over to Alicia. Alicia pass it over to Turner. Turner trying to lay it up. It's no good, but he gets his own miss, and he cleans it up.
And like you said, down to 5 already. I mean, this was a 16-point lead for the Kahunas, and again, within 5 minutes, it's been evaporated. Which we talked about last night about the Kahunas' mental strength, being able to come back multiple times from double-digit deficits. As you see a dunk there from Delgado, continuing where he left off from yesterday. But I have to praise the Taproots here tonight, being able to pull back from 16-0 down to start, even to get it respectable here as the quarter starts to wind down.
Yeah, right now we can see Yasina try to go for that three-pointer, but she's not able to get it down. And we get to see Warren pick it up and go for I believe that's a long 2, but he's not able to get it down. So Turner with the rebound, and we get to see Natalie try to pass it up to Springer. Springer lays it up, and it's good. And you are right. The Roots have found a way to try and pick this thing back up. Let's see if they are able to do what the Kahunas haven't really done much for a majority of the first game. And see if they can able to take over and take a lead here. We see Alicia lay it up. It's no good, but she draws the foul. And that'll be Warren Doyle's first personal. We get to hear a little bit of the Bluebirds. Crowd not too pleased about that call.
Yeah, well, I mean, they can't be pleased right now. They thought they were watching a massacre, and it's turned into a actual contest. And that's not what they want to see. And, I mean, it hasn't even been that much of a flat-out run. I mean, the Kahunas have put up 8 points since the start of their run, but 20 points compared to Plymouth in that time.
Yeah, and we get to see
the rookie make a bad mistake. Bouncing the ball out of bounds, losing complete track of where he was on the court.
Yeah, I'm thinking the jitters might have gotten to him a little bit for the Kahunas, but they need to find a way to stop Plymouth on this run because they have been hot pretty much. And Yasina is able to lay it up, but no good there. But Wadi gets drawn for the foul.
She'll take that. 2 possible points on the charity stripe. That was going to be a tough battle given the height difference. She's pretty good from the free throw line. She makes the first one.
Yeah, and I think that pretty much just goes to show that both teams are not willing to back down, as Plymouth has an opportunity to only be down within 2. Like we said at the start of this game, the Kahunas were up 16-0 early on in this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, as we see the Plymouth only down by 2. They have a chance to take the lead if they get a good stop here.
Now it's brick by brick. They've built this game back into something respectable. Is that pump fake? Oh, wow. I'm surprised he didn't take the shot there. He completely made the defender bite it. But Springer, she gets the steal. Last laugh in the end as Belmare can't finish it off.
So they have an opportunity to tie it there, but not able to get it good. But we can see King trying to wait for everybody to come in.
Don't step out of bounds.
Yeah, the rookie had a decent showing in game 1, had an okay game, as we get to see Wadi try to go for a long 2, but it's no good. Not really a mid-range player for the most part, so it's not surprised that he missed that shot. We get to see Maroon hands it over to Yasina. Yasina trying to get into the paint, but it gets blocked there. And we get to see Hawaii once again going for a fast break, and we get to see a quick dunk there from Delgado.
That's his second basket of the game. Second dunk, too, while we're at it. 4 points so far coming off the bench.
Yeah, and right now we get to see Hawaii trying to extend this lead up, but they get back down to a 2-point deficit. As we see the Roots be able to score back real quickly. So right now Tay has an opportunity, but it gets blocked there.
Samantha all over him. I think she blocked him with both paws.
Yeah, right now we get to see Alphonse with another turnover. Quick steal. The Rat heading it over to King. King trying to lay it up, and it's no good. The rookie gets to go on the line, though, for 2, as Yasina gets her first personal of the game.
Can get it back to a 4-point game if converts both of them here.
Yeah, I think it's very imperative that they try to find a way to stay ahead of the game and really try to gain control, because Plymouth has been doing very well in really answering back. especially the bench. The bench really stepped up for the slack of the starters.
Yeah, I mean, the starters got it going, but the bench has finished it off here. And with only 1 minute and some change left to go in the first quarter, honestly, the fact that it's this close is a victory for Plymouth, period.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
think
even
that
matter if it's they can't score a bucket in the last minute.
yeah, as long as they're able to try and keep it within a respectable range, and we get to see a nice shot there as they cut the deficit down to 2. Yasina already with 6 points in the game, since she's already cooked it up.
The player you pointed out definitely stepping up here tonight so far, coming off the bench.
Yeah, right now we get to see Tay pulling back a little bit, going for a little bit of an ISO play, it looks like. Right now Tay has to do something with it. Yeah, right now going for a long two, and it's an air ball, so the third-year player not able to get it done this time, and we get to see some substitutions here as Marone gets subbed in for Krillinger.
But the important thing is that Hawaii will get the last shot with the way they manage the shot clock there and the game clock. No matter what, the game clock will turn. The shot clock will turn off after this possession.
Yeah, right now we're going to see some quick movements as we get it over to Natalie. Natalie hands it over to Kikian. Sophia trying to go for a long 2, and it's no good there. So, as you said, Hawaii is going to have the last bucket. We'll see what they can do here. See if they can extend this up to at least 4 points. Tay going for a mid-ranger. No good. So, that'll be the end of the first quarter. So, I think 28-26 lead for the Kahunas. You couldn't ask for anything better if you're a Roots fan, especially with how this first quarter started off.
Well, considering the Roots didn't play basketball for essentially the first 2.5 minutes of the quarter, yes, very much so. I think we could. I think Plymouth really would like to rewind time, go back, and take out that first 2.5 minutes. Because if you think about it, it should be 26-12 right now, based on the last majority of the quarter there.
Yeah, they've been in most of control in the first quarter. The Kahunas need to find a way to try and calm things down and put it back in their favor. As we see, Messina trying to go for 3, but it's no good, and Hawaii is able to stop the cleanup. And right now, we're going to see Delgado trying to go for a huge slam there. That was a really good effort there as Hawaii is actually able to extend it back up to 4 in such a way. Maybe this could be a good momentum change for the Kahunas.
Well, if you're the both coaches for both teams, when do you bring the starters back on the floor in the second quarter?
Well, I guess it really depends on how big the deficit could be for Hawaii. We can see Yasina go for 3, but it's no good. And right now we get to see Sunderman passing it up to Kealoha. Kealoha tried to lay it up, but it's no good. But yeah, I think really the big thing here, I think it could be maybe around 9 minutes until we see the starters come back on the court. But I think for a majority of it, it would be end up being the 2 benches duking it out. We get to see a quick lay-in there for Hawaii.
I mean, if I'm the Taproots, I'm considering bringing my starters in the next couple minutes, especially if this lead starts to build up once again. They're down by 6 now. If they can't get a conversion here and then they miss out on the next, they fail to stop the Kahunas on the next play, I get a little worried. But Samantha can't clear the boards.
Yeah, and right now we get to see Hawaii have another opportunity to extend this lead once again. And Sunderman lay it up, and it's good. So now they're up by 8 with an opportunity to take it into double digits. If it goes double digits, I think they will call a timeout here.
Yeah, well, I see both players, both benches actually kind of getting a few players already set up for a substitution on the next dead ball situation.
Yeah, right now we get to see a nice quick lay-in as they cut the deficit down to 6. So it's been somewhat containable for Hawaii as we get to see a quick block and steal, I think, from Samantha. I think she literally just snatched that from the air as kicking in. Hands it over to Krillinger. Krillinger She's trying to find a way to get into the paint. She passes it over to Samantha. Samantha going to lay up, and it's good. So you got to feel a little bit easier about this, that they've been able to cut this deficit down to 4. And right now we get to see Kealoha with the rock. He tried to hand it over, but it gets stolen, and we get to see a quick fast break for the Plymouth. Excuse me.
And back to a one-possession game here. Again, in a snap of a paw, what was a significant deficit is wiped away, and a chance to tie it up for the first time since the game started.
Yeah, right now we have to see Kikian trying to tie this up. Like I said, we haven't really seen a lead change as of yet. And we're going to see Yasina change that right on up as she gets a 3-pointer.
Yeah, speaking of the devil, and he shall appear in the form of Yasina landing a nice bucket from beyond the arc. Puts Plymouth up for the first time in a long time. Since the beginning of the game.
Honestly, I think this is the first lead for the Roots. And we get to see a quick layup as that changed up real quick, and we get to see the Roots finally call for timeout as Tay Delgado is able to get 8 points so far in this game.
Yeah, definitely stepping up off the bench, matching Yasina, both players leading the bench so far in both games in points scored. But as we saw, some starters getting ready to come back on the floor. Do you think this timeout will give an opportunity for maybe a few more to sub in? It's past that 9-minute mark that you were talking about.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to get some of the starters into this game, as we see River coming in and also Kenny. So I think it's good for them to really feel like more rested up and be able to have a little bit of a reset mindset as River gets to go in and lay in. And of course, that was a good. So yeah, we see Taproots having an 11-2 run in the past 2 minutes.
Yeah, but we've also seen what the starters for the Kahunas can do. They can go on a 16-0 run. It has to be replicable.
Yeah, and I think right now, are they able to do it with a little bit more pressure? I feel like they have took the foot off the gas a little bit, and we see Kenny go for 3.
Finally, their game plan's coming together. They started the game off with the 3 attempts that just went nowhere, and that's 2 threes in the last couple minutes here for the Taproots.
Yeah, the Roots are finally cooking it up beyond the arc as we get to see some movement here, and we get to see a blocking foul on River. So that'll be, I believe that's Doyle that'll be going for the 2 points.
JCK.
Oh, JCK, yeah, excuse me.
I know JCK likes to stick around the perimeter, but he has been getting it done from mid-range as well. And initiating contact, that's a great way to potentially put these players in an awkward situation. Again, we haven't seen it in the series so far with Game 1, any kind of foul trouble coming in for either team. But that can just be such a momentum changer when you put your opponent's star player in such a disadvantaged position and not be able to be aggressive on defense.
Yeah, and it's very imperative if you want to be able to have more of a chance. You need to get those star players to force them to play a little bit more passive. We can see along too. It's no good, but Turner cleans it up with a quick dunk.
Slippery Fox just glided in front of Tate there and looked like he was playing defense on offense, boxing out Tate.
Yeah, right now we get to see JCK hand it over to Doyle. Let's see if they're going to be able to see if they want to rely on the long range as well. Maybe get a quick screen, get a good switch. Could definitely do something with it. Try to go for a tough 3, and it's no good there. We get an air ball. Not really a good possession there for JCK. Not able to find anyone.
Lateral speed is so important when you see those defenders switch off. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for an advantage in that lateral speed so they can get by them and get to the basket. And if you're a great defender and you can read your opponent, even if you're a little slower than them, you can put your body between them and the basket and prevent their desired outcome that they're looking for.
Yeah, and we see Doyle be able to get the quick steal there for Hawaii, have a chance to cut the deficit down, and then won't be able to do so with that shot as River gets the board. River. Passes it to Turner. Turner laying it up, and it's no good, but he draws the foul on Zach Tate. That'll be his second personal. So right now it is very important for both of these teams to continue on this stretch, as we get to see Turner being able to try and extend this lead with 2 free throw shots.
Well, another
And he's not.
thing to keep an eye on, Plymouth has called 3 timeouts so far, and Hawaii hasn't even touched theirs yet, so they obviously feel very much in control and not worrying about making micro adjustments during the quarter.
I mean, I feel like it might change pretty soon, considering they have lost the lead now, and they haven't been able to try and make up for the advantages when it comes to some of these possessions. So they need to find a way to get an answer here to start picking up the heat. And as I say that, the Kahunas do go for their first timeout of this game.
Yeah, not a bad decision on their part. Like you said, they've watched the lead, 2 leads in fact, go away, and now they kind of find themselves in a not a great position with 6 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Obviously, I think they wanted to see how their starters would do in the first 2 minutes before they make an adjustment, and now they're going to try and figure that out. I definitely think they're going to point to Jake Turner and point to Tate and Scooney and be like, look, if that Fox has a clean look to the basket, you're getting yelled at the next timeout.
Yeah, I think it's very imperative they can't let Turner really take over this game, because he has that ability to do so very easily. And right now, we see Yona have an opportunity, but he is blocked there by Turner. So right now, Kenny has an opportunity to try and make a good shot, and he goes for a step back. No good, though. Whoa, we get to see a hard foul, though, and we see Doyle gets called on for that.
That's such an odd thing, because they came up with the rebound. Usually when you see a call like that going for a rebound, it's the offense that gets called for like over the back or whatever. But right there, that's a wasted opportunity for the Kahunas.
Yeah, right now we get to see the Roots have an opportunity to extend this lead even more. They're only up by 5, 43-38, as we only get about 5 minutes left in the first half. And we get to see a long 2 there, no good. But Turner once again with a rebound, and he lays it up and in. Let me emphasize this as well. Tate is now on the bench, and Scooney looks like he's been taken on the 5, so he has a little bit more of an advantage height-wise.
I mean, a whole foot there.
Yeah, right now we're going to see JCK trying to slow things down a little bit. He passes over to Barrett. Barrett has a little bit of advantage here. He lays it up, and it's no good, though. But Barrett gets his own miss, and he cleans it up himself.
And that run that was started much earlier in the quarter still going on. 19-6 here.
Yeah, if for the Hawaiis, they need to find a way to make a stop here. And right now we get to see Kenny. Huge block there by Norwich. Even gotten Kenny on the floor looking shocked.
Kenny's always on the floor, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
90% of his body's on the floor. But as you said, the Kunas will convert that possession. Down by 3. Now it's on to the Taproots to see if they can answer back. Keep an eye on Jake, as he has that advantage, as you mentioned earlier. And DeMarcus calling for the screen from Tate. Gets it. Now matched up against Scooney. He has the advantage in speed, but Turner, Barrett, good job battling for the rebound there. Beating out the Fox.
Yeah, and right now we get to see Scooney trying to go into the paint. He passes it over to JCK. JCK going for 3, and no good there as Norwich tries to clean it up on his own. He does so. And just like that, Hawaii's cut the deficit down to 1. And right now we get to the field goal percentage. Both teams down into reasonable numbers compared to what it was like last game. Both teams were scoring up to 50%, around 50% in game 1. Now we get to see both teams a little bit colder compared to last game.
Well, it'll still look like we'll see a 50-point game for both teams before the half closes out at this rate, at least.
Yeah, both teams are kind of scoring pretty high, trying to pick it up offensively. As right now we get to see Hawaii looking to see if they can cut the lead back to one, and
Oh, Turner.
Turner really has something to say about that
I'm
as we get to see Norwich with the ball.
pretty sure he just blocked that with his elbow there.
Yeah, right now, Yona tried to do something with it, but Kenny DeMarcus gets called for a second personal with the reach in. And we get to see Kenny take a little bit of a breather here as Marone and Springer comes in.
And to be fair, that absolutely destroyed the whole possession there. They had 1.8 seconds left on the shot clock, and now it's been reset to 14. What would have been a desperate heave, now they have a second chance to get a decent look at the basket.
Yeah, right now we get to see another foul, this time on Turner. That'll be his first personal as Yona was trying to go, well, not, yeah, Yona was trying to get into the paint right now for a quick two, and Yona's not really doing very hot so far in this game.
Well,
Now getting his fourth point of the game.
we saw it last night. The first half, he was absolutely abysmal, but then picked it up in the second. Might be a bit of a trend we see here if he repeats it tonight.
Yeah, and he's able to get his fifth point of the game, only down by 147-46. The Roots are leading. So right now, we're trying to see if the Taproots try to extend it back up to 3. And right now we get to see a quick lay-in, but it's no good. Not a very good effort there as Barrett easily is able to get the rebound. Yona.
He didn't even jump for it. That's just how much of a disadvantage the offense had going for that rebound.
Yeah, and right now Doyle going for a long two, and it's good. Warren is able to get the lead back up, give it back to the Kahunas as they're only up by 148-47. So far, River trying to see if he can find a way to get into the paint, but goes for a tough shot. He's able to get it in.
A spinning turnaround jumper with 2 defenders on him. Okay, I see you, Rye Bread.
Yeah, and right now you see him being perfect in the field goal. He only took 3 shots, but he's picking them wisely. As Yona trying to find a way to spin into a quick shot, but it's no good there as River gets the board. River heading over to Turner. Turner trying to look away to get into a tough shot, but it's no good as Barrett's able to get the board.
Yeah, well, for that disadvantage, Turner's doing well to keep him contained as Norwich slams it down on the other end and takes the lead back for the first time in quite a while for the Kahunas.
Actually, we've been seeing that both teams going back and forth with this lead, trying to see who can finally get get heated and get that most important defensive stop. As right now we get to see a long-range jumper, but it's no good. So Barrett has a chance to extend it as they pass it over to Norwich with the quick slam. And as we see, 6 lead changes in total so far.
I wasn't expecting more than 1 considering how the first quarter went to begin with.
Yeah, and right now we get to see both teams finally picking up the pace. This is much looking like how it was in game 1 as we get to see Turner lay it up and in with the easy shot. And right now, Hawaii really needs to find a way to continue to get that offense going as we're about to see the first half coming to a close.
Yeah, they're just going to burn down this clock and try and leave no time for the Taproots to get any kind of significant look. And Vassanu with the 3 misses, but Norwich, oh, he couldn't get the last bucket off the rebound.
Yeah, that would have been a really good way to end the first half, even with the lead. But right now, I got to say, it's looking very, very close as we saw the White Kahunas be up 52-51 at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and again, Plymouth, yeah, they're looking at this, okay, we're still down, but they are literally tied right now. And the fact that, again, I'm not so sure they even put a team on the court for the first couple minutes of this game.
Yeah, like, honestly, as a Taproots fan, this is probably the best that you could really ask for. Yeah, you're down by the end of the first half, but it's better than being on in a blowout situation.
Yeah, and a quick look at the stats. Doyle, 7 points, shooting 50% from the field. Barrett, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 4 for 6 so far. Vassenhout, 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. JCK struggling a bit as well with Vassenhout, 1 for 8. Norwich, 3 for 5 coming off the bench, 6 points and 6 rebounds in his limited minutes so far. Don't be surprised if you see more of him. And Tate, the fouls, they decided to put him out on the bench just to be safe, put up 6 points in 5 minutes, but perfect from the floor. Delgado, 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. King, 2 points, 2 assists, and 1 turnover, only scoring his points from the free throw line. Blanc, only a block to his name in the 7 minutes on the floor. Wati, a steal and a block, but also a turnover with a missed shot and 5 rebounds. Kealoha, 2 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 50% from the floor. Sunderman, 1 for 2 points in his 5 minutes. And then jumping on over to the Taproots, obviously we see Turner with the leading the way, 15 points, 6 for 8 with 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. Cruz, 1 for 3, made his three-pointer earlier in the game with a steal. River, as you mentioned, perfect from the floor, 6 points, 3 rebounds. DeMarcus, 5 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 2 for 8. Struggling a little bit, but got a three-pointer to his name. Andrea Matsunura Cole tonight, only 2 points, 4 assists compared to last night where he put up 25. We'll have to see a big change up in the second half if he wants to contribute. Belmare, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and a block. Yasina, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 3 for 8, 1 for 4 from the three-point line. Torrey missed both of his shots and has a turnover. Only 8 minutes on the floor so far. And then Springer, 1 for 1 with 3 points, missing 1 free throw, and a steal. Samantha, 50% from the floor with 4 rebounds so far, 2 blocks also to her name. Short time on the floor, great defensive impact in those minutes. Sophia, an assist, but missed her 1 shot attempt so far tonight. And Martin, 2 points, 1 assist, 1 for 2 so far. And with that, we'll jump back into the third quarter.
Yeah, and I gotta say, for the first half, you'd have to, you really have to appreciate the Roots' effort here, trying to be able to, come back from that 16-0 deficit. Actually, lead for a good bit of the game, in the first half. But now we gotta see if they can answer back. If they, Kenny dish it down to River, but just gets a quick block there for Tate, and Tate already with the third personal at the start of the second half, and he has to be really careful here. Now, don't really want to be with 4 fouls this early on in the second half.
They have to pull him. It's such a gamble if they don't pull him. Right now, you could pull him and possibly live with the fact that your other starters can help cover for him not being on the floor. But it looks like they're going to gamble here. They're going to leave him on. And if he gets a 4th foul with the next minute or two, it's going to be a big problem for the rest of the game.
Oh yeah, because as we alluded to for game 1, we didn't really see much of a foul trouble for either side, really. But now we may actually see that come into play in this game when it comes to Tate. And Barrett does get the board. Tate really has to be careful now. It doesn't want to get that 4th foul. And right now we get to see Warren. Gets shoved a little bit there. Didn't get no call. As he tries to go for a long 2. It's no good as Turner gets the board. And here we get to see Tahiri trying to take advantage of the fast break, but instead hands over to Kinney, but it's no good as Norwich getting quite a good amount of rebounds here as Doyle tries to go for an alley-oop slammer, but it's no good, and Tahiri passes it over to Trevor. Trevor gets a dunk on his own, and we get to see Plymouth up by 2 now.
Yeah, again, looks like this is going to be another dunk contest here tonight. Impromptu.
Yeah, right now we're going to see Doyle try to lay it up, but it's no good. Tate tries to get up, and he gets blocked there. Barrett tries to get a score, and he gets blocked too.
Well, that's a block for Turner, a block for River, and 9 seconds for possession for the Kahunas as we do see a substitution. JCK finally back in for Norwich.
Yeah, and right now we get to see Plymouth actually turning it up here on defense. And right now, the Kahunas need to find some way to answer back as they pass it over to JCK. JCK going over to Yona. They need to do something here with not a lot of time left on the shot clock. Going for a tough 3, and it's no good. Turner gets the board here. All right, now we get to see Tahiri try and go for the score. We can see Yona really struggling here in this game with only 1 field goal to his name. Here comes Trevor. Pass it up to uh, Andre as we see a not a good miss there, but Turner gets to clean it up there as now they're only up by 4. So right now it does seem like the Kahunas are kind of playing a little bit passively on defense. We see Doyle gets dished there and it's no good, but Doyle gets his own miss. Not able to get it done, but Doyle still fighting hard, tries to pull it back and wisely try and reset. It's Tate goes toe-to-toe with the Fox. Try to lay it up, and it's no good there. Good defense there by Turner.
Well, when you lose the ball 3 different times in your possession, it's time to finally pass it out to the perimeter. And we see the Taproots convert their possession, and the drought continues for Hawaii. It's been almost past 3 minutes now for them since they last scored a bucket.
Yeah, and that's not really a good thing to see as we're trying to see the Roots extend their lead back up to 6. Barrett tries to see if he can clean it up, and he does so. And now they're only down by 4, and Scuti with 12 points in the game, really becoming one of the main players to keep them in it. And right now we're going to see Kenny pass it over to Andre, and Andre going for a long 2, and it's good. And right now we do see the Kahunas go for a quick timeout, trying to get a little bit of an answer here, because it seems like that they have been struggling to contain the Roots.
Yeah, like you said, Taproots finally looking like they're starting to gain control of this game, and the Kahunas need to make an adjustment to curtail their efforts, whether that be they need to put more of a double team on Turner, and that's the thing, tonight Turner hasn't been all dominating. The Taproots have gotten it done without him.
Yeah, right now we get to see Tate with the rock. And right now Tate's doing a really good job not getting into foul trouble, so those 3 fouls are not looking as dangerous. And we get to see a quick blocking foul by River, and that'll be his second personal of the game as Blagmanj goes on the line for 2.
And again, another kind of question for the Kahunas will be, obviously we see Monjin now, but when will they substitute more of their bench in? Do you really risk substituting in your bench when you're down by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points? Like, where do you draw the line and say, look, we can't risk it and keep our starters in? Even though it looks like they will substitute in we'll substitute out Vasu and substitute in Delgado, and that's actually a substitution I like. Delgado has done well coming off the bench, whereas Vasu has struggled. And obviously they're keeping Tate in to contain Turner.
Yeah, and I think going into your answer, it's a little bit difficult because if the starters aren't really getting it done, they're gonna have to find some kind of spark. And I think Tate is the best person to sub in at this point because he is the harder hand when it comes to the PG position. And right now we get to see Yasina dish it over to River. River heads it over to Tahiri. Tahiri going over to back to Yasina. A lot of passing went on the perimeter. Kenny DeMarcus goes for 3, and it rattles home. So once again, the Roots are now up by 8. Have a chance to go up into double digits here. And right now we do see this game being completely different than what it was in the first quarter as Sunderman tries to get up there, but it gets blocked very easily. JCK going for 3 this time. No good as River gets the rebound. Right now, so far, the Roots are doing a very good job at containing the Kahunas on the offensive end. And we're hoping to see them to extend this lead more as River gets the board, pass it over to DeMarcus. DeMarcus going for a long 2, and it's no good. But River, once again, with the offensive rebound, and he gets fouled on the way back up, and Blagmanj gets drawn.
I was worried there. I thought for a second that was going to be called on Tate because it looked like he was about to go up and jump, but wisely backed down when he saw the contact. We will see a chance for a 10-point deficit here should River convert these 2, though.
Yeah, and I think that pretty much really kind of changed the mentality for the Kahunas because now they're are the ones again looked at back into the position where they were in game one, where they have to find a way to build up that energy to get them back into this game. It's a pretty containable deficit, but you don't want this to extend any more than you need to.
And we see both Turner and Tate being subbed out to give a bit of a break here. We probably won't see them until the fourth quarter. As Wati who gets to go the line for two.
Yeah, and we see Samantha with her first personal. And we get to hopefully see Hawaii try to cover this back within single digits, and they do so here. And we get to see more sub-ins as River gets a chance to take a break as well.
Yeah, they probably wanted to sub him out in the last dead ball, but since he drew the foul, they couldn't do it with him at the line. So, chance for everyone to get their breath caught up.
Yeah, and once again we see Hawaii come with the deficit down to 8, 65-57. Only got 7 minutes left in the third quarter. We get to see Natalie not able to score this time as Tay's able to get the rock. Tay passes over to Blanc. Blanc with the slam.
And we see the field goal percentage there. Kahuna's starting to slip. They were around 44% at the half, but now down to the 30s.
Yeah, that's not something you really want to see there. As Celis go for a very long three there, but it's no good. But they have an opportunity to pick this back up if they're able to get somewhat of a run. JCK is still on the floor here, trying to hope to see if they can go for get some kind of offensive opportunity. JCK is able to get those 2 points down.
Yeah, he did get a bit of a rest there, as we saw a different lineup for a while. So his minutes are slightly behind the rest of the starters. So this might be their opportunity to get some kind of spark going, and it's going to be up to Plymouth to counter it. As we see, their field goal percentage has just improved with each quarter so far here tonight.
Yeah, 55% in the third quarter. That's really, really good. And that's something you would really want to see as a Roots fan. And right now, Blanc trying to see if he can answer back, and he rattles it down as we get to see the deficit only down to 4. And right now we get to see Yasina going for another 3, and it is good. What a beautiful 3 there.
Yeah, they've left her open, but she makes the more difficult shots, and that just puts a damper on your mood if you're the Kahunas. You're sitting there thinking, okay, we're starting to pull it back, and oh, wow.
Oh.
Martin getting a little chippy there.
Yeah, it seems like he's a little bit frustrated within the game.
Out there too. They can't afford to get a flagrant foul getting thrown around.
Yeah, that's not something you really want. You have a really good lead here. You don't want to try and change the momentum and get this crowd rolling again. As Sunderman trying to find some kind of answer here. Just trying to lay it up, and no good there. And we get to see Belmare gets the board. And right now we get to see Yasina trying to look for an answer. Decides to pull back beyond the arc, looking for something open. Here comes Krillinger. Krillinger tries to find a lane, try to lay it up, but it gets blocked there. And it still will be the Roots ball, but only less than 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah, and honestly, even though they're now subbing out Yasina, I kind of expected her to stay in and probably play off of her three-point ability and rely on her. But they can still get something going, a quick pass, one more pass and a dribble and a shot. Plenty of time, just they can't wait for something to develop. Or they just turn it over on the inbound.
Yeah, a really good pause there from the rookie, Nolan King. He's able to try and see if he can help his team out, cut the deficit down even more so. As he hands over to Blanc. Blanc with the mid-ranger. He'll make that every time. So now Hawaii is only down by 5. And then we see the
30% of the time.
Yeah, and right now we do get to see from the turnovers, we do see Plymouth winning that battle a little bit, but Hawaii has been able to take advantage of the scoring opportunities even more, as we get to see a quick shot there as Plymouth is now up by 7. And right now we get to see Blanc pass it over to King. King going up to Delgado. Delgado lays it up, and it's good.
Just fights his way to the post there. We've seen plenty of dunks from him tonight, but actual body contact and fighting through it to get to the post and get an easy shot.
Yeah, right now we get to see Sophia with the rock heading over to Marone. And right now we're getting to see Marone going for a long two, and it is good. So right now we're seeing the back and forth offensively, but Hawaii really needs to find a way to get some stops going if they really want to cut this deficit down even more, because they still have an opportunity to do so, as Tay gets a good lane opportunity but not able to finish it off. And right now we do get to see Alicia Springer going for a long two, and it is now good, and they have a chance to extend to double digits if they get a stop here. Right now we get to see Tay pass it up to Manj. Blanc going over to Wadi. A lot of passing on the perimeter as King has it now. And we get to see Delgado had an open shot but decided to go against it. And instead of going for a lane, but he gets fouled on the way up as Sophia gets her first personal.
Yeah, a little under 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter here. We'll see Delgado go to the line 4-2. He is definitely leading the way for the Kahuna's bench, but someone has to step up around him to help here. He can't bring this team back on his own. I mean, we saw him last night do it with his 2 back-to-back and ones that what brought was a 10-point deficit back to 4 and eventually gave them the win. But he can't be relied on again every single night to carry the bench for the Kahunas.
Yeah, you're right on that. And plus, we do see for the Kahunas, they have a lot of veteran presence. So you would hope that they would be able to find a way to step up. I believe see Alicia try to lay it up and in, but it's no good. And Norwich gets his first personal of this game.
Game slowing down now with back-to-back fouls as the Kahunas will make a substitution after this shot, which is good.
And as you said, we get to see a major change right now, and it looks like all of the starters, well, not all of them, but a couple of the starters will be coming back onto the court. See if they can make up for this deficit.
Yeah, we're back to the point of, and the problem is the 2 players they put back on the court really haven't been impactful so far in this game. Maybe they're trying to rest Delgado in case they need him later in the game to provide a spark.
Yeah, and right now Nolan King trying to lay it up, but it's no good there. And right now we see Alicia trying to use her speed, but she ends up losing the ball to Nolan King once again with the steal. Nolan passes it over to Kealoha, and Kealoha gets the and one opportunity. Nice dish there by the rookie to Kealoha, and he's been able to have an opportunity to get a 3-point chance as we get to see some substitutions on the Plymouth side, but Springer wasn't able to get it done. And we're going to see them losing the ball again, but the Roots were able to get lucky with that as they still get to keep possession.
Yeah, waning minutes of this quarter. If you're the Kahunas, I mentioned it yesterday, you want to stay within 5, honestly. That is a easily doable range, but if you let yourself get down by 10, 12 points, especially in these moments when you go into the quarter changes, you're dreading it and you're dwelling on it. You need to step up here.
Yeah, and we got to see some good defense there from Yona, but he accidentally draws the foul there, and that'll be his first personal of the game. So Plymouth once again has a chance to extend this lead up to 9. And the Roots, I gotta say, you gotta be really, really impressed with them in this game. Because as we said in the very first quarter, they were down by 16, not being able to find anything. And now they're close to a double-digit lead on their own once again. And here we are, we're gonna see Yona trying to find an answer for the Kahunas as he goes for a step back, not able to get it down, but Doyle finds a way to get back in there, and he tries to lay it up, but it's no good. But Doyle gets it up again, and he draws the foul on Cruz.
Finally able to get it to go, and looking at his second half, it has not been kind to him. 0 for 5 so far. But a chance for
Yeah.
a few freebies from the line, but he misses the first.
Ah. And those are the ones that will bite you in the butt. Oh, and he misses the second one as well.
No, that's the one that will bite you in the butt. Because you went to the line and got nothing done. You went to the charity and you said, "No, sir, I don't want anything," even though we're down by 9.
Yeah, that's not something you really want to see. This is not a very unfortunate event. We get to see Yona gets the rebound, and they need to find an answer here. As Alphonse passes it back to Yona, going over to Kealoha, back up to Doyle. Doyle needs to find a way to heat himself up once again because he's been on a very serious cold streak. As Norwich tries to find a way to get into the paint, he lays it up, and it's good. So far, so good. As they try to find a way to get this into a reasonable deficit, but they need to find a way to just get a stop here. Because if they don't, it's going to be very, very worrisome. As Marone hands it over to Kinkian. Sophia back over to Cruz. Lots of passing as River tries to go for a tough shot, and it's good there.
He has been accurate from everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts chucking up threes just for a heat check, because he has made some pretty difficult fadeaways here tonight.
He has, as right now Hawaii is having a huge struggle in trying to stop him as Yona tries to go for a teardrop, and it's good, but no.
Well, it's good, yes, but Norwich will get called for the loose ball foul, and since it happened after the shot, they will still count it, but it will be a foul.
Okay, so if anything, they'll be able to just advance the ball just a little bit as we're getting to the final seconds of the third quarter here. And right now, we get to see Kenny try to go for a long two, but it's no good. Turner able to clean it up.
Well,
so again, they are up by
5 seconds left. He can pass it up real quick, and Norwich for long two. No good.
No good. So after the end of the third quarter, we do get to see Plymouth up by 9, 83-74. Man, if you were to told me that it was going to be this score at the beginning of the first quarter, I would tell you would be nuts.
Well,
but right now, we do get to see the Roots really showing a lot of strut here within these past couple of games. And right now, we're really seeing them being in control here.
And now it's up to the Kahunas to show that mental fortitude we saw yesterday, where they were able to claw back multiple double-digit leads and ended up closing it out in the end. And they have to rely on their crowd to give them some of that energy that we saw yesterday. They brought them back in it, but Turner nearly sends it to the crowd with the block.
Yeah, right now we get to see Turner with the ball passing up to Marin. Right now we get to see him go for a long two, but it's no good there as Norwich gets the board. Norwich going over to Vassenhood. Yona trying to get up there, but he gets fouled on the way up by Cruz, and that'll be Cruz's second personal. So right now we get to see Yona be able to get the first shot, and he's good there. And I got to say, when it comes to offense, Yona has been able to answer very well in this game, and he's been perfect so far. Really picking his shots very carefully. And right now we get to see Kenny bringing it back up to the logo real quick. This is a good chance for Rywer, but he won't be able to get it done. And right now, Yona trying to see if he can find a lane going. And he's able to pass it up to Tate, and Tate with the slam. So right now, Tate has cooled off quite a lot compared to last game, as he was the player of the game on game one. But right now, if any time for him to pick up the pace, it is now, as Kenny tries to go up, but he gets blocked there. Hawaii, once again, another scoring opportunity. Doyle tries to lay it up, and no good once again. Doyle has not been very hot, and we get to see Norwich go for his third personal already. And we do get to see some sub-ins for the Hunas.
5-point deficit here. If they can get a good stop, they leave Cruz wide open for three, and he converts it.
Yeah, you cannot leave that bat that wide open. And once again, we do see Plymouth now up by 8, 86-78, with only 10 minutes left in the game. Plenty of time, but you need to find a way to get a run going as JCK gets an opportunity to go for it is a 3. I thought that they were going to call 2 there. His paws were a little bit on that line, but they give it to him anyway. As Turner tries to lay it up, and it's no good though, and Tate gets his 4th personal.
Yeah, but at this point, he's fine. He's got 2 more to give before the end of this game. And I mean, yes, with 10 minutes left to go, they could challenge him. If they get 1 more on him, I could maybe see it becoming an issue. But with how he's paced himself tonight, it's not that much of a concern for me.
Yeah, with that, and I think that pretty much goes to why his numbers are so low compared to last game, because he had to no choice but to be more reserved with being carried. But now that he has an opportunity to see things, that we get to GCK go for a long 2, and Barrett gets the rebound, and he gets to go on the line for 2 as Trevor gets his 3rd personal. We're starting to see Trevor start racking it up really quickly.
Again, these free throws, we talked about the 2 that were missed earlier by Doyle and then coming to bite you in the end. Right now, if Scooney can make this 2nd and you go back to those Doyle free throws, it would have been such a much closer game. Would have been 85-88 at this point. I'd love to see at the end of this game where the free throw differential lies between the 2 of them.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty much goes to show that as later the game goes, the more important the free throws are in this game. You cannot be able to afford to miss them. And so far, with them only down by 5, we get to see Cruz going for a tough shot, not able to get it down this time, and Hawaii has a chance to extend it, and 1 more, and Barrett gets to slam it down. So Hawaii is able to cut the deficit down to 3, maybe get an advantage to go ahead and tie this up with a stop here, but the Roots decided to call it time as they seem to be a little bit exhausted.
Yeah, and they're watching this. They need to get a strong defensive setup here. They need to prevent the Kahunas from making this comeback a reality. And that's one way with DeMarcus from the inbound.
Yeah, and right now Kenny's just showing again with his 3-point strut. As we get to see Hawaii trying to see if they can find the answer back. As Hawaii tries to lay it up, but it gets huge block there from Turner. He just zoomed right past them.
And it left DeMarcus open in transition. He decides to step into the 15-footer range and takes a pull-up jumper. Back up to an 8-point game now.
Yeah, right now it just goes to show that it's been very, very tough for Hawaii to try and clean this back up. If they keep trying to have these costly turnovers, as we get to see Barrett tries to go for an alley-oop, but it's no good. It gets intercepted. And right now we get to see Yasina pass it up to DeMarcus. Going over to Zahiri once again. Get a nice quick screen. Trying to go for that pick and roll, but it's no good there as Tate gets his 5th personal.
Okay, now you start to be a little worried. 8 minutes to go. It's only been 2 minutes since his last foul. You can consider me concerned now, because if he goes down, then now you're left with who? Watty guarding Turner? I mean,
yeah, and
yes,
I won't be surprised if they try to sub him out here.
Oh, no, they can't. They can't afford it. He's dead. They're down by 8. I mean, they have to keep him in. That's kind of the... You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You take him out, you lose the game probably. You keep him in, maybe there's a chance he hasn't fouled, but now you've put yourself in a position where he can't play aggressive defense anymore. But he can.
Yeah, really.
Ooh, Scooney blocked out of bound by River.
And River banging his chest because he knows how big of a block that was.
Well, he also intercepted that alley-oop a little while ago, so he is smothering Scooney right now.
Yeah, right now he's able to contain Scoons, which is a bigger task than what you would think, against the Otter, and Yona tries to lay it up, and it is good there. Is that they're only down by 7, but they need to find a way to contain Plymouth on the offense, on the defense. They need to find a way to get a stop here.
Oh, well, they're going to challenge Tate down low in the post, no doubt. Or just let him take threes. Not going to work out for him, but Turner could have had the rebound there if he had gone a little bit luckier boxing out, but the bounce just didn't go his way.
Yeah, right now we get to see Yona try to lay it up, and it's no good there, and Turner is able to pick it up, and Yasina going down into the paint, and he tries to lay it up, and it's no good, but Doyle gets the board. And right now, Yona is trying to find a way to get into the paint. Quick pass to Tate. Tate hands it over to JCK. JCK tried to lay it up, but it gets blocked there by Turner. Once again, Turner is showing his length in the paint. And right now, this is what you want to see. Turner trying to challenge Tate, but instead this is back out to DeMarcus. DeMarcus trying to lay it up, and it gets blocked there by Tate. And right now, Turner is trying to find a way to get an answer, but Tate's doing a really good job at defending that glass. But Hawaii is not able to take advantage of that. And right now, we're going to see Turner with a slam. And yeah, so far, Warren Doyle has just not had a great second half this game. And right now, we get to see another turnover, and Kenny just going for the easy finger roll as Plymouth has now got it up to a double-digit lead.
And Kahunas have to call timeout here, down by 11. 6.5 minutes to go. They have time. They've done it before. It's just every second ticked off that clock makes it that much harder of a mountain to climb here, and it's really down to possessions. I expect the Taproots to potentially start burning the clock down because they have such a lead that they could burn 2 minutes off the clock and still leave the Kahunas behind.
Yeah, and right now, all the eyes are going to be on Tate with the fact that he's at a huge risk of being fouled out right now as Doyle hands it over to Yona and trying to see if they can find a way to draw that final foul so he can be sitting out for the rest of the game. As Scooney tries to lay it up, and it's no good, but Tate gets to clean it up. I will say Tate has done a very good job at keeping his nose clean, especially in the one position where he really just shut down everyone on the glass. And right now we're going to see River hands over to Tahiri once again. Tahiri's trying to find a way to get some kind of opening, and he gets up with that screen there, and he tries to go for an alley-oop, but Tate was just saying no and just snatched it out from the air. And so far we get to see Doyle go for a long two, and it's good.
Basket of the second half.
Yeah, and better late than never, I guess, as he finally gets his 9th point of this game. Very big cold streak.
The Kahunas would have preferred sooner than later.
Yeah, I believe there. And Kenny DeMarcus once again with a huge 3 as they break the century mark. 101-91 now. Hawaii really in trouble as we get to see Yona trying to see if he can find a way into the paint, but instead go for a long range, but Barry gets to tip it home. So right now, Scooney's doing his darnest to get to where he needs to go as Kenny tries to get into the paint, but it's able to go down. So right now, Kenny has been able to answer up as we get to see the Roots once again back up to 50% into this game. And we get to see JCK try and ask for a screen. He does get it. And right now he almost lost the ball. So he pulls it back up, tries to go for Barry. Barry, huge advantage here, but he gets double teamed as JCK is wide open for a long 2, but it's no good, and River gets the board. Really could have been an advantage for JCK to put it within single digit, but he intercepts the ball as Scooty goes over to Doyle, and Doyle gets blocked.
Just nothing going his way. It looked like an easy lane to the basket. Next thing he knows, he's getting smacked from behind. Thankfully, they will retain possession of the ball, but what was supposed to be an easy 2 points, now they have to earn a second time.
Yeah, right now we do get to see Yasina get sit out for a little bit. And right now Doyle tries to go for a long two, and it's no good. Turner once again with the board. This is not looking good for Hawaii as Tahiri tries to take an opportunity to pull back for a little bit.
Well, like I said earlier, 10-point game. They can just burn time, and there we see it. Tate fouled out. That might be the game there.
Yeah,
Struggled
with
tonight.
three.
Only 10 points compared to his 20-some from yesterday.
Yeah, it really goes to show that like the early fouls that happened within this game really came to bite him because he had been playing a little bit more passively, and now that Tate is now going to be gone for the next 3 minutes, it's going to be hard for Hawaii to try and make it up. We hope that Wadi, which I'm assuming is going to be on the court right now, which he is, he has to pretty much um really fill in a big shoe, and we get to see the second free throw be missed. Right now, we get to see a quick pass over to JCK. JCK going over to Doyle. Another lots of passing along the perimeter. You think they might have to rely on a little bit as Yona goes for a mid ranger, but it's no good as the Fox was flying right into his face. And so far, we get to see Kenny tries to go over to Turner. Turner gets another quick shot, and it is good. And I don't know, man. I feel like at this point, this could be an opportunity to say that this might be game as Yona tries to find a way to get in, but he gets blocked again by Turner. And it just seems like Tahiri tries to go it up, but it gets fouled by Doyle, and that's his third personal.
Well, again, at this point, just looking at a 13-point difference, even if he misses both these free throws, you're talking about, even if you hit threes, you're still talking 5 possessions. And the Taproots really can burn off 100 seconds easily, and that's 1.5 minutes with some change. That leaves very little wiggle room for the Kahunas outside of having to go and foul them and take them to the line. And I feel like the Taproots have struggled. A few of their players have not been converting the free throws, so that might be the route they end up having to go if Plymouth starts burning off the clock. They can't afford to let Plymouth put the nail in the coffin by letting the clock get down below 1 or so minutes with a double-digit lead, and turnovers are not the way to do it. Cruz is just going to pull up, and honestly, I think that's it right there. 16 points, 2.5 minutes.
I think at this point we might as well like put this up as Kahuna calls for another timeout. This was just something that we really didn't expect for this to happen in such a fashion, especially how this game started. Remember, the first 2-3 minutes, it was all Kahunas. 16-0 run, pretty much came in blazing, but they just ran out of gas simply.
Yeah, and I mean, we could probably start talking about what this game means going forward. I mean, like you said, 16-0 run in 2.5 minutes is possible, but to do that twice in a game after all the fatigue is built up I just don't see it. And if the Kahunas do fail to make a comeback, the worst case scenario, Plymouth winning a game 2 puts them in a very advantageous position to go home with the next 2 games and possibly get the series to 3-1 if they can defend their home court.
Yeah, and that's really why it's so important, very imperative. Because even though, with the Kahunas essentially losing this game, it's still going to be 1-1. Essentially, the series reset. But at that same time, you officially kind of lost the home field advantage because you're going to be going into Plymouth, which is a very, very hostile environment on its own right.
Let alone the fact that any of your fans that are going are going to have to fly a couple thousand miles just to cheer you on. I'd say it's a hostile environment. I mean, there's some mainland Kahuna fans, but not enough to fill the Taproot Stadium. And it's such a challenge to get these road wins in these situations. And hats off to the Taproots. Definitely, I thought that they would collapse after how the first quarter started, but to build this much of a lead after not playing the first 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it just goes to show that um, remember the Roots actually has had a lot of adversity going into the playoffs because they had a little bit of a 7 game series scare in the second round against the Spirits. So they have been in these situations before, and being able to answer in such a way, it just shows the adversity that the Roots really have amongst their players. And right now we usually see Turner trying to lay it up, and it is no good. Waddy gets the rebound as Barrett tries to go for a quick shot up, but instead passes it up to Doyle
And
and
they're just going
Yona.
to try and put up some kind of respectable score line here. They don't want to make it look like a blowout, but even though JCK hits the three-pointer there, Hawaii will be lucky to break the century mark here as they still find themselves needing 2 more points with under 48 seconds left to go in this game.
Yeah, well, they have an opportunity to do it here as Yona gets a chance for the fast break points as he slams it down. As they're able to pass the century mark now, but I think that might be really it offensively as we get to see probably the last possession for the Roots as we get to see a quick shot from Kenny DeMarcus, but Turner's able to lay it in, and the shot clock is now off as the Plymouth Rapids are up by 13.
Well, to be fair, I'm
And
pretty sure they were just gifted that 100 point because it almost like River just put the ball in the chest of Aston Hood and let him have a fast break. Considering
yeah, I
how
mean, is looking that'll be it for this game as we get to end the game with the Plymouth winning game 2, 113 to 100.
And quickly jumping on over to the stats, Doyle, we mentioned he absolutely fell apart in the second half. As you see, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 for 17. Vastenhout not doing so hot either. 13 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, but 2 blocks, getting some done on defense, but just not an offensive impact player. Unlike Barrett, 20 points, 7 for 12. Perfect from the free throw line. 12 rebounds as well. JCK, 4 for 15, struggling a bit there as well. Put up 12 points. Tate fouled out, but only put up 10 points and 11 rebounds. Perhaps a little fatigued after game one. Norwich, 8 points, 9 rebounds, and a block. 4 for 7 from the floor with 3 offensive rebounds. Wati, 2 points, 10 rebounds. Misses 1 shot, but 3 blocks. Being a bit of a defensive presence, especially having to come in when Tate fouled out. Delgado, 11 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 5 for 13. And Monge, perfect from the floor, but only 7 points considering he took 3 shots. He was smart with the shot selection, but probably could have taken a few more shots there and add to the score line. King, 0 for 1, 5 assists, 2 steals, but that 2 points from the free throw line. Kealoha, 4 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and a block, 2 for 3 from the floor. Sunderman, 2 points, 1 for 3. Not a lot in his 9 minutes on the floor as we jump on over to Plymouth. Turner, 20 for 20 again. 7 blocks, getting close to a triple-double if he keeps this up in the following rest of the series. River, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks, doing a bit of everything. Matsunoro, 11 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists, and 4 blocks. Definitely a terror on defense. DeMarcus also putting up 20 points. 4 for 6, the 3-point king for the Taproots. Cruz also hitting his 2 3-pointers, put up 10 points, 2 rebounds, and assists. Yasina off the bench, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. The player you had your eye on definitely stepped up coming off the bench, leading the way. Belmare, 3 for 7 for 6 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Marone, 4 points, 1 rebound, 1 for 6, struggling a bit from the floor. Samantha, 2 points, 5 rebounds, but 2 blocks in her 13 minutes on the floor. And an offensive rebound. Springer, 6 points, perfect from the floor, but missed 2 free throws, 1 steal and a rebound. Sophia, 1 assist, missed her 1 shot attempt. And Martin, as we talked about, only had 1 for 3 with 2 assists. And we will dive into the team comparison. And like you said, the way the first quarter went, the fact that it was this close, how it started, really was amazing.
Yeah, the Roots really just showed um that they had a lot of bite within it. Like they were able to not go down without a fight. And I think this really just goes to show that the Roots are able to control the game whenever they need to, and the Kahunas really need to find a way to find that answer as they get into a very hostile environment. As a Kahunas fan, what do you think your mentality is going into Game Three?
My mentality is, oh my god, not again. Honestly, the fact that they are going on the road, it, they can do it. I do believe that they can steal one of these games. And they have to steal one of these games because if I'm a Kahunas fan and they come back home down 1-3, it is going to be very tough to go out to the stadium and watch that game. If they can come back 2-2 or even pull off the miracle and get it to a 3-1 in their advance, steal two on the road, game 5 is where I'm paying attention right now because the spectrum is either going to be, and not the Santa Ana spectrums. The spectrum is either going to be I can't bear going to this game because it's a 1-for-3, or oh my god, I need to be there if they manage to pull this back to a 2-2, 3-1, because I might be seeing my teams finally get close enough to a ring or possibly pull down a ring. It is
Yeah,
I my eyes are on Tate and on JCK. Scooney has done well both games. Tate and JCK need to step it up.
yeah, I would even say more so JCK than Tate. I think one of the reasons why his stats are so low is that he had no choice but to be a little bit passive here, especially when he had that third foul very early on in the game. So he had no choice but to play a little bit more passive than what he's used to. Game one, we know that he's able to control the game if he needs to, because that 2020 score line in game one, he's able to show that he has the strut to do it. But right now, JCK along with Yona, they haven't been able to take control of the back court, and I think that that's gonna be the storyline going into game three. Who's gonna be able to take more control on the 3 point line? And this time it was the Taproots. We haven't seen a lot of 3 point scoring, true, but when they happen, it becomes a really big moment.
Well,
So that comes to play here.
I'm going to throw in Doyle as well and say that all three have kind of failed the Kahunas right now. I mean, we saw the stat line, but all three of them were shooting below 40% this game. And we saw, obviously, Yona and Doyle pull it together in game one in the second half and put up a decent score line. But this time we just didn't see any of that. And Tate and Scooney cannot carry this team to a championship. And maybe they need to make a decision. Delgado's been playing very well off the bench. Maybe we see a team, the Kahunas make a decision, put Delgado in instead of Vastenhoot. If Vastenhoot can't step up, that might be a question that needs to be answered.
Yeah, I think that you hit the nail on the coffin right there. It's just they have to do a better job at being able to distribute the ball along the perimeter and not be so afraid of the 3 point line, because going into the paint is not going to get it done all the time. Uh, River has stepped up and became a really huge asset for the Roots, especially in game two. Turner, we already know how he is. He is arguably the best center that we have in the game right now, easily top two, honestly. So it's going to be very difficult to even get a lot of points within the paint. So you need to look at your backcourt guys, your guards, and your small forward to be able to get those mid-range shots so they get able to spread the to be able to spread the defense around a little bit. That's really what the key is here. Being able to take advantage of those long range attempts to be able to have the other team respect you on the 3 point line. Because once you get that done, you'll have a lot more scoring opportunities, both in the paint and on the perimeter, because you'll never know when it's gonna come.
Right, and that's what failed the Kahunas today, as you see Taproots, 44% from the 3-point line. That was the killer. It made it impossible for them to put a significant defensive presence in the paint to stop Turner and River because of Cruz, DeMarcus, Yasina nailing those 3-pointers, and the Kahunas need to step up on that regard. But we will see if they can in the next couple days as we all transverse cross country from Hawaii to Plymouth. I've been I've been Marcus Baylor. I've been Ryan
Jeez.
Eastman, and joining me tonight was Marcus Baylor. And thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next time.
See ya.